Velocks. So that's like the white American version for sure.
We are live, gentlemen.
We're live.
We're live. Normally I say good Saturday afternoon or good Saturday night, but I think it's hump day right now. What day is it? Hump day. So I'm racing Jason from the Henry County Motorsports Park, southernmost dirt track in the USA, and hanging out with my friends from Done Right TV, Velocks Speed Shop, and also hopefully my new good friend at the end of this, if I don't embarrass him too much, from the World of Outlaws, David Gravel. Nice to meet you, David.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Got to meet you a little earlier. I heard you rumbling in here in your Mustang, and that was a neat little. So I mean, normally you go roundy rounders, but I heard you got like doing the drag racing thing too.
Yeah, I like drag races for fun. I did it since high school. Used to go to Lebanon Valley in New York every Wednesday night and had some fun up there, and just carried over from that. You're always chasing that new personal best, and pretty much addicted to it now.
Keeping it at the track, not on the streets, right?
Of course. It's a street legal car though, so I mean I could drive it anywhere, but it doesn't get very good gas mileage.
I mean, this is a big shop here, and the whole place just reverberated when you rolled in here. So
well, that's good. Got to bring some American muscle around here sometime, you know.
Yeah, I know. Jeff's got some wild stuff through here. We walked around and took a look at some projects he's got going on, and Velocks Speed Shop. I mean, Jeff Bailly, sprint car driver with the Top Gun Sprint Car Series, and but I want to thank him for letting us come in here and introducing us to you.
Yep.
And one of the neat things I found out, I was talking to Kelly on the way over from Done Right, is you've got a mentoring program, I guess, or help coaching people and kids and everybody that wants to get into racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've kind of done nonchalantly just through over the years, just helping like new guys racing World of Outlaws with us, right, that are new to the sport, and just trying to help them through. And I met Jeff at Lernerville Speedway in Western Pennsylvania at a World of Outlaw race, and he gave me his business card. And I think I just moved to Florida that year, but I touched base with him, I don't know, about a year ago or so, and you know, we met up and checked his place out, and you know, went over to Hendry County and helped him out one night on a practice night. And you know, a lot of people do sprint car racing for fun, and then there's the other people that do it for a living, and it's no different than what Jeff does on the road racing stuff. It's just different. So he's used to about going left and right, and we're used to going left on dirt, and all the years of experience. I feel like you could just shorten that learning curve for everybody, and just make it easier, and try to help it make sense for people, because terminology in every form of racing is different, and that's a barrier that you have to try to break.
I mean, talking about terminology and everything being different, you guys were, actually Jeff was working on these stools here a little bit, and I walked over while you guys were talking, and you were talking about different things that he does, what he needs to be doing at the track. When you work with these drivers, is it something that they call you up on a Saturday night when you're not doing your thing, or is this something that you guys discuss during the week, or do you make special trips to go help certain drivers?
I think the big thing is, you know, social media and like GoPro footage and highlight videos or streaming services. You know, you can go back and watch these races, and for me, when I'm racing on Friday or Saturday, that is my job and 100% focus. So really, when I go to the racetrack, I don't even look at my phone the whole night. So that would be something to be more during the week and watch film and explain, hey, this is why this is happening, or you know, look at this guy running this line and why he's going faster and stuff like that. So it's all about like kind of watching film, no different than football teams and football players. And nowadays it's so available, you know, with what we have going on with the World of Outlaws. So you can watch every lap, every qualifying lap, I mean everything. So you go back and watch what you did wrong and try to learn from that.
You know, growing up and going from grassroots racing to, let's say, World of Outlaws and everything, the multimedia, all the high-tech gadgetry that's involved nowadays. Do you do anything? Do you race online? Do you do anything to hone your skills at certain tracks you're going to be going to? And does that help?
Yeah, so when the whole COVID pandemic thing came about, some reason I had an itch to buy a simulator, and I bought a WR1 sim. He's out of Oklahoma, and you know, last off season when we had the extended off season, I played iRacing quite a bit, and you know, they just brought dirt on there a couple years ago. So World of Outlaws actually sanctioned online races that were live on TV, and had a weekly deal with all the normal drivers. So it was really cool to do that. And since then, I haven't been on iRacing too much. It just seems like our off season is so short. I like to play with my Mustang, or go to the drag strip, or go to the beach, or spend some time with the wife. So try to have a balance. It's one of those things. Try to have a balance when you race 90 times. That's hard to do.
Well, now we're getting back to business, and business in 2021 is taking off big for you this year. New team, new ride. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I switched teams to the 2-car. It's named Big Game Motorsports. Todd Quiring owns the team. He owns Jackson Motorplex and Houston Speedway. So it's a guy that has sponsored me. I don't know if you guys know, but I ran the CJB number 5 car, and it had Muddy on the side, GoMuddy.com, and Big Game Tree Stands. He owned those hunting companies, has then sold them, but he was our primary sponsor on that team. So I knew those guys really well, and they wanted to make a driver change, and they decided to give me a call and made an offer I couldn't refuse. And I'm really hoping that this will start a relationship for a long time, and I could be with this team for 10 years or more. Who knows?
There's you're one of those elite members of the 500 Club, and let's walk through that just a little bit. Was it a little surreal whenever you got to be in that status?
Yeah, pretty cool. Hadn't been done since '92, and I don't know if I never thought, excuse me, if it would ever be possible. Really, back in the day, Steve Kinzer had Dominant Equipment and Doug Wolfgang and stuff like that, but I didn't think it was ever going to be done. But after you quick time, I mean, the hardest thing of the whole thing is to win that heat race after starting 8th. They invert 8, and you never know who could be in the front row because there's so many cars. They could be fast, and the track could be really narrow and stuff. But it's one of those things. It's definitely surreal. It was quick time. Then we moved on to the heat race, and they rolled in the cushion, so you could run 4 above the cushion. And we kind of simulated that when we were there earlier in the year in a dash, and got the car freed up enough to be able to go up there and do that. So after I went 8th, the first in the heat, and then I felt like King Kong. Like, I didn't think that good was going to stop me from winning the feature. So it was one of those things. That's the hardest thing to do, is win that heat race.
That's too cool. Growing up, where did you cut your teeth racing? Where did you get your start? What started the passion of going fast? I know you talked about drag racing in school and everything. Had it started with straight line stuff, or did you get into circle track before that?
So I grew up in Connecticut, not one dirt track in Connecticut. I grew up going to NASCAR races. My dad's buddy was like a crew guy on Jeff Bodine's car back in the day, and I always thought that was really cool. But we went to Dover and New Hampshire and stuff like that. So originally, my wallpaper in my car, or in my room as a kid, was just all die-cast cars. It had the NASCAR airplanes hanging and had a race car bed, so that was always around me at a young age. And I started racing at 6 years old in quarter midgets in Connecticut. We ran on asphalt exclusively, and then started racing more, got 2 cars, ran 2 classes, then ran 3 classes, and then we were traveling at least once a month, and we went to Primm, Nevada, we went to Sacramento, California, we went to Portland, Oregon, Indianapolis several times, Hagerstown, Maryland, Georgia, all sorts of places, racing quarter midgets from like age 6 to about 12. So I just did that, and then slowly moved up. I got a legend car on asphalt. Nice. And a micro sprint on dirt, and I actually ran both, and just fell in love with the micro sprint on dirt, and started traveling to Pennsylvania weekly, and then boom, started racing sprint cars, and the rest is history.
Did you ever get down around Lanier? Did you go race down to Lanier in the quarter midget?
I never got to race Lanier. What state's that in?
Georgia.
Georgia. No, I'm trying to remember. All I remember in Georgia was there's a Tyson chicken factory next door. It smelled completely terrible. Terrible smell. I still smell it until today.
It's either the chicken factories down there or the pig farms. One or the other.
It was bad.
Couldn't get lucky and get out there next to one of the tobacco fields or something like that.
Yeah.
The smell.
For sure.
So you did the quarter midget thing growing up. Are you a first generation racer? Did your dad race at all, or anybody else in the family race?
So nothing really directly. I actually have more racing heritage on my mom's side, and my mom raced some like enduro races back in the day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but I believe it was her uncle was a race car driver, and then her cousins race SK Modifieds, but also my dad's dad, his brother, his kids race in Vermont. That all makes sense. That's a long family tree there. So it'd be like my third or fourth cousin races in Vermont, like a late model on asphalt. So I kind of have the heritage on both sides. I never got to meet my grandfather, my mom's dad, but he was a big engine guy, street car guy, big, motorsports guy, and always loved Fords and had Gran Torino, Cobra Jets, and all that stuff. So he was kind of a wrench guy, and I believe, his family also raced, so he was always involved in that. But I think it was well-rounded for me. My dad really can't drive a lick, so I know I didn't get the talent from him. And my mom
got it from your mom.
Yeah, my mom's a speed demon, so she thinks she's Mario Andretti, but she likes to go fast.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just as long as you keep the blue lights out of your rearview mirror.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's fast forward a little bit. Your career's moved along. How did you get into the sprint car racing? What was your first break in that? And I mean, was it like, okay, I've done the quarter midget thing and I'm moving up into the dirt with the micros and all that? What was it like getting into one of these beasts for the first time?
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't have a lot of recollection or know much about sprint car racing, but when I raced Pennsylvania, we went to a track for the micros and we got rained out, and like half hour down the road, they were racing sprint cars. And I was able to check those out for the first time, and the tires look so big, and a 410, shakes at idle, and it's pretty cool. So, like, man, these are pretty awesome. And about 15 years old, we bought a sprint car. Was going to go 305 racing with the PA series up there, and that didn't work out. They wouldn't let me race or didn't approve me or something. So I ran URC, a 360 series, and happy that happened. It worked out really well. But like Big Break, which was a sponsor for us over the years, Jrc Transportation. His name's Ray Capella. We went to a World of Outlaw race with a 360 at Lebanon Valley, and like got lapped on the last lap. Was like pretty competitive. Like kept up with some 410s, and somebody said something that got him fired up at that track, and that off season he bought a truck and trailer. He bought 3 cars and 2 410 engines, and they showed up to our place in Connecticut, lettered, engines in them, complete rollers ready to go. And we had an old Kodiak toter home and a gooseneck trailer, and we had our 360 engine. So my dad just sold everything we owned, and then we formed DDR Motorsports, and that's how that 89G team came around. So my dad does well for himself. He's not rich or wealthy by any means, but he hustled really hard to get me good equipment and do what he could do. We wouldn't have been able to jump up to the 410 ranks on my dad's budget, and we went all-star racing right off the bat when we got the 410s, and it was a learning experience. Definitely made some mistakes and learned, and cost us some money, but if you could see into the future, you would make way less mistakes, that's for sure.
Now, we wish we could all see into the future, grab that magic 8-ball and figure out what direction we're going to go in. But
that's for sure.
You've definitely been pointed in the right direction. You've got big wins at Charlotte, at Knoxville. Those are, I'm sure, are tracks and times that just that are ingrained in your mind. You remember that. So if we could take away from those, what are some of the favorite tracks that you like to go to besides those ones where you've had the big success at?
Everybody asks what's your favorite track, and I always say Knoxville, so I can't say that, obviously.
I wanted to get those out of the way, because those are the easy ones. Those are the easy ones.
Yeah, for sure. I really like Lernerville in Western Pennsylvania. It's a fun track that gets slick and technical, and it's very wide, and I really like that place. And then a track that we don't race at anymore in Limaland Motorsports Park in Ohio.
Nice.
I think that always put on great races at the Brad Doty Classic and a short quarter-mile bull ring, but it raced really, really good. So one of those things, I would say those two are on top of my list.
Yeah, I'm originally from Ohio, so I know a lot of the dirt tracks up in Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Indiana. There's tracks that disappeared up there that are no longer there. That's something too. That's something we could probably touch on a little bit. I mean, you look at racing in general, and you look at the things that do in different states, and you see a lot of tracks disappearing, not just because the state of affairs the world is in right now, but it's been progressively happening over the years. Do you find that wherever you go in the United States, whatever state you're in, and you have so many tracks in an area, do you find it now that racetracks are not working together or working against each other? Because I see a lot of them, especially in Florida, they work against each other, and I think that is a huge demise to short track racing.
Yeah, that happens. There's so much politics in the dirt racing world. You wouldn't think there would be, like, say, NASCAR, but there still is in the dirt world, and it's tough. You know, some people play nice and some other people don't. Pennsylvania is a very territorial area where there's a lot of rules there and people control a lot of things. So I wish that tracks could work together better. I think that there's opportunities, say for our sanctioning body like World of Outlaws, they have like 6 or 7 rigs going up and down the road, and then all of the traveling guys. We have, I think, like 16 teams this year. Like, if we could really have everybody get along and cut down on traveling and work really, really well. But, you know, the weekly gig, you know, some people race on Fridays, and then another track wants to start racing on Fridays. You know, it gets to be really tough. So I think tracks do need to work together, but at the end of the day, you have to look out for yourself as well. But for everybody to thrive and succeed, there's give and take with it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. World of Outlaws, you guys have had your season already turned upside down because of weather, because of COVID. I don't even think you guys are going to be going to California this year.
So right now we're not going to California at the beginning of the year, but after Knoxville, like after August, it's our like second West Coast swing. We typically go to Washington, Oregon, and California, way shorter of a stint, but we still do. So that is still on, but who knows? Hopefully, I know cases are way down with COVID, and a lot of things are in way better shape today. So hopefully we can get out there on the second swing. But now, I mean, we had 3 weeks canceled, and then we had the whole West Coast swing canceled. So we had like 2 months of racing canceled, and now they put it all to the Midwest. Now we're Missouri, Indiana, some in Oklahoma, stuff like that. So it's all
Florida.
changed. Florida, yeah. I'm not complaining.
We're open for business,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. Stuff's flowing down here, and I can't drive to any races but Volusia. So, and that's only once a year. This year I could drive to 2 tracks and drive home the next day. So I'm definitely not complaining.
So, how do you like our little track down here, our southernmost dirt track in the USA, the Henry County Motorsports?
Yeah, so I was telling you before, but I met Jeff there to help him out, and I was expecting kind of a dump. It was in the middle of nowhere, and I think that they did a really good job with it. I was impressed. You know, I think the facility's nice, the grandstands are nice, the lighting was pretty good, and you know, the surface was fairly good. So
yeah, looks are deceiving when you're pulling into that place, because
Yeah.
you get off Highway 27. It's pitch black out there, and
Yep.
you're going down this little sketchy dirt road with the trees growing up over
Never
the
know
sides
there's a
of it.
track there.
And then it just opens up right there in the middle of Big Sugar, you know. So.
I would recommend a nice big sign and a light pointing at it, but hey, that's not my call. But no, it was a good place. I think I talked to the track guy there. I know he wants to do a couple different things to try to get them up closer to the wall to use that whole surface, but I was impressed. It was more than I thought it was going to be, and I know there's not much dirt racing down here. I know it's tough with our weather, with how warm it is in the summertime, so it's kind of an uphill battle. So I know it's tough and tricky, but I mean, went to that practice night, there was a bunch of cars there and a bunch of different classes, so I know there's people around here that want to race for sure.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, it's. We were talking earlier about it. The track is located centrally, right in the middle of the state, and it's an hour and a half from the West Coast, an hour and a half from the East Coast, and about an hour and a half from Tampa area. You know, so it's kind of a good spot, but it's kind of not at the same time. You know, you get a lot of the old guys from the old Hialeah days, the asphalt track down in Hialeah, which is completely gone now. Yep. We got a few of those guys that come out and race with us. Steve Dealman, our flagman, who stands behind my son, our flagman at the track. He's from the old Hialeah days. So a lot of these guys getting involved with it, getting into dirt. We've had a lot more of them come out. So,
yep.
But we're working on it. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm interested to see how it'll grow, and I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there. So it'll be interesting to see how it evolves over the years.
Yeah, and you were actually talking. I don't know. You might have been talking to John Wilson, or the track owner, King Kenny. But what we're actually going to try to do is actually fix that back straightaway going into turn 3 and lengthen that straightaway, because there's so much turn down there in 3 and 4 when you look from the satellite view. Yeah. It's almost like a big D-shaped almost.
Yep. Yeah, you don't use the entrance, the upper part of turn 3 like that. Isn't it like used at all? There's so much more real estate there that can be used. So yeah, I think it'll be good, just because if you want to grow, like if you want to have a big late model racer one day or a big sprint car race, you know, you need space for those types of things, and it'll be interesting to see if they make those improvements and we get a big series there one day.
Hopefully we can get you down there sometime, and maybe you can come down, and we'll have to put some extra padding in Jeff's seat in his car for you.
Yeah, 2 of me could fit in Jeff's seat, so he's gonna have to do some work for that for me to fit. But maybe one day we'll get testing that thing for sure.
Too cool. Well, how hard is it to do the class thing? I would say with Jeff, he calls you up and says, "Okay, I'm having problems at this point," or I tried this and it didn't work out for me and I wrinkled my wing up. I mean, is it tough doing the phone call stuff back and forth?
It's extremely hard, especially when you're not there. And, he's going to kind of revert back to what he's used to doing the last year or 2 years, and it's hard to break those habits. And that's the worst thing about people racing, say, the wrong way, is breaking those old habits. Like when you learn how to do something the right way, then you carry that on forever. But when you learn how to do something the wrong way, it's hard for people to learn and try to break their streak of what they are doing. And at the racetrack, if he's getting information from competitors, they could be giving him false info to hurt him and not help him. It's a lot of a mind game as well, and it's tough. Like for me, I need to focus on driving when I'm at the track. So if he's trying to set up the car and he's never done this before, there's so many variables to be successful at this, and that's what separates the World of Outlaw teams to, say, the local teams. Or if a normal team try to come and compete with us for a month, they'll learn really fast, like what the difference between a World of Outlaw driver or team is compared to, say, a local team. We adapt so well, and it's just because we're traveling so much and we go to so many different areas. So it's something that I'll break Jeff with his bad habits. We're getting him closer, but over time, if I get to a race with him, just help him out, and maybe bring a crew guy or two just to show him and how to read the racetrack. Learning the dirt and how the track is changing throughout the night is such a big thing as well.
Yeah, I want to thank Jeff for opening up Vlog Speed Shop here for us to come over with Done Right TV, and I want to thank David Gravel for joining us and getting to meet you too.
No problem.
I think if there's anybody on there, if there's any questions they have for David, Jeffrey can let me know. Kelly can let me know, and we'll ask some questions to them.
Q&As.
Some Q&A is great.
I have a question while we're here, but
you
have a YouTube channel, David, that you're trying to promote. So why don't you go ahead and say what channels we're trying to promote. I'll put it in the text, but let's go ahead and start with that. We'll check the messages.
I started a YouTube channel 2 years ago, and it was something that I watch YouTube all the time with car guys that, go drag race and screw around with side-by-sides or whatever, just have fun. And it's so popular with so many people, and not one person did it in the dirt world. So I was like, why don't I try and do this? And I did a shop tour, and like the tour around the trailer was really good to show people how organized and how much parts we have in our trailer and stuff. And that was good. And then just showing people what we do after the races, go to the car wash, go to the truck stop and eat truck stop food at 2, 3 in the morning while we're traveling. To next races. Like, a lot of people don't understand. They might think we have this big truck and trailer and it's this glorious thing, and it's not all amazing and these bright lights and stuff. So it's just called David Gravel on YouTube, and just trying to show people insight what's going on with really what we do, and then kind of recap my night every time I race. I kind of talk before the race, after the race, try to get some GoPro footage and stuff like that. So it's one of those things. I don't put an extreme amount of time into it because it could get really, really time consuming and life consuming. So I do plan on building it more and more as we go. But I almost need to hire a guy that's really good at video stuff to like really get on top of it for me, because like I said, when I'm at the racetrack, my job is to perform at the highest level, and I can't sacrifice that. But I'm trying to build it up. I'm consistent, showing people what I do in the off season with my cars and stuff like that. So it's got a good mixture of stuff. I love pizza. I show people good pizza places in Connecticut. So I try to show people a little bit of everything. It's not a daily vlog. Again, you want to separate a little bit, your daily life and normal life to what racing is and what you want on YouTube. So I'm kind of stuck in between, but I'm building it, and I'm happy with how it's come out. Every race I go to, I would say at least 10 people come up to me and say, "Hey man, I love your YouTube channel." Like, it doesn't surprise me every time. So it definitely has good feedback, and I need to do more and grow and grow and grow. It just I'm trying to grow lots of other things too in my life, so it's a balance.
You know, we could we could take it up a notch. We could get a hold of Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
We could get you out there, do a front flip on a motorcycle. We see if we can get him to turn some laps in a sprint car.
I know I'd fail at the front flip, and he would be fast in a sprint car, but he'll probably crash, no doubt, because he's a throttle guy.
he doesn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, I seen the last Gymkhana video, and he was in that Gymkhana video. That was amazing. But that's just stuff I like. I love all that stuff. And Travis Pastrana, that'd be a guy I'd get along with great for sure.
That would be a lot of fun. So if anybody gets this to Travis Pastrana, you need to tell him to look up David Gravel. So
yeah,
really easy to find. Really easy to find.
I'm not as an adrenaline junkie as him. I have to be jumping out of planes and cliffs and stuff like that, but I'll watch him do it.
Did you ever see the video of him jumping out of the plane with no parachute on? Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's a little crazier than me. That's for sure.
You only live once, right?
Yeah. He's tested that out.
So okay, it's probably a touchy subject. What do you prefer, circle track racing or inline racing?
Definitely circle track racing. Drag racing's cool. I think I respect all forms of racing. If it's road racing, NASCAR, F1, I think everybody is, 100% in their sport, and I can't go there and do as good as them. So you got to respect when people do that at the highest level. And I like it all. I mean, NHRA racing is really, really cool, and there's so many cool forms of racing out there, and I respect them all.
It's NHRA. I tell you what, they've come a long way, and they've still got a system that works. I would really like to see them get a lot more accolades than they do. They need to be more mainstream like NASCAR is.
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, NASCAR did a great job of getting these TV contracts that even IndyCar can't even come close to. So it's one of those things. It's all about that marketing deal. And to me, the problem with drag racing is it's so much cooler in person than it is on TV. Your freaking heart is killing you when they make a pass in those cars because they make so much horsepower. So it's one of those things. It's like way better in person than on TV.
One thing I'm excited about is we're getting an F1 race right here in Florida.
Is it Miami?
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah. It's going to really happen. I know there was rumors.
They've already got the course already laid out. I think you can already race it online in iRacing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
I remember there's rumors of it happening, so that'd be amazing. I haven't been to an F1 race. So really cool.
Yeah, it's already in the works.
That'd be great. Yeah, that's the amazing thing with iRacing, man. They get everything right and they get tracks up there right away. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, my son is all into he's doing the Xbox racing and stuff like that. But he's got a homemade rig set up at home and everything. So.
Forza Motorsports is a great game too. It's very realistic.
I think he's got qualifiers coming up for NASCAR. They're
okay.
Do
the NASCAR heat deal. Yeah.
NASCAR heat deal. So
yeah, that's a big deal. That NASCAR. I mean, if you're a sim guy, you can make a living driving now. It's getting to the point where people are making tens of thousands of dollars doing it.
Who is it in NASCAR?
William Byron.
William Byron. He was doing iRacing and turned around and somebody picked him up, put him in a ride, and it's like, that guy's amazing.
Yeah, he wasn't a race car driver until he was, I think, like 17 or 18 years old, and he was really good at iRacing, and I know he had some money behind him, and he was really good, and look at him now,
Yeah, technology has come such a long way, just not in the computer sense and the online sense, but even with the cars and everything. How much technical part of it do you get in with the car?
With the car, yeah. So there's some drivers that are very involved. They're kind of their own crew chiefs, but to me, I would say I'm stuck in the middle of that. Like I'm involved. I kind of know what's going on, but I don't know everything, and that's kind of what the crew chief's for. And my relationship with my crew chief and how we talk and how we communicate. So it's one of those things. I don't go there setting up the car. I just give him my feedback, and I could give him suggestions what I think had worked in the past with other people, other times I was here. But it's definitely something that everybody has a different outlook on. But I feel that's a crew chief's job. That's what he gets paid to do, and I hope he doesn't tell me how to drive either.
Racing Jason here, hanging out with David Gravel from World of Outlaws, hanging out here at the V-Lock Speed Shops. Thank you very much, Jeff. Bye. Yep, that one kind of stuck with him. I'm not going to let you live it down. But any questions out there?
Brian Baggett wants to know about
Brian.
Excuse me, I can't talk. Your thoughts on Bristol? What do you think about Bristol?
Yeah, I'm excited. I see that they had some dirt truck out there yesterday or 2 days ago. They're already making laps, so that's good for me. I mean, hopefully they get that track smooth for us. Hopefully on the slicker side, because that place is extremely fast. But I'm excited. When I got the World of Outlaw 2002 game back when I was younger, excuse me, on PlayStation 2, Bristol was on there, and it was really, really cool. And I never got to watch the sprint cars race. I was, 8 or 9 years old, so I don't remember watching on TV. But I'm excited for it. I'm glad they made it invite only, because it's going to be so fast that we don't need any squirrels or inexperienced guys out there, because when you add dirt to a track, that wall gets not as high because you're adding so many inches or feet of dirt. So I think they made the right call. I support the World of Outlaws on that. And we're still going to have an extremely amazing field of cars. And it's cool that they're racing there for, 2 months about? I mean, I think they have at least, 4 to 6 at least race weekends. So I think that's really cool. Obviously, that makes more sense for them if they're spending the money to put the dirt on the track to do that. So I'm happy we're not the first series to go there. So hopefully the track's ironed out and really good.
Brian, thank you for that. I had that question on my mind and I totally blanked it out because we're just kind
There's probably going to be a lot of that as soon as we hit in.
Actually, I got to say hey to Brian. Hope you're doing good, and I can't wait for you to come back to the track, brother. We miss you. Brian Baggett was actually our race director at the Hendry County Motorsports Park, and he has a bout with cancer, and they got him souped up a little bit, and he's got to relearn some stuff. But
good luck with that.
Yeah,
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
NASCAR truck. Well, I have a statement first. If you'd like your own personal camera crew for Bristol, sign me up.
All right, I'll be there in the sprint car. I'll be there. And you're from Iowa, right?
I'm from Iowa, but I travel.
If I race the truck at Knoxville, I might need a camera crew.
There you go. There you go. So let's talk about the trucking. Let's talk about not trucking, but let's talk about the trucks.
Yeah, so that's something. After winning the Knoxville Nationals with Exalta on the car and Jeff Gordon involved, I always wanted to race the Eldora truck race on dirt, and that was kind of the deal. Exalta was going to sponsor that, and that's where it branched from. And then I was hoping to race 6 races, then maybe 12 races, and had this upside of racing quite a bit. And COVID hit, Eldora never happened, and we only went out and raced. So I raced Michigan and I raced Kansas. So I ran 10th my first race there, and then crashed in my second one. But I was supposed to run 6 and got brought down to 2. But this year I'm kind of focused on the World of Outlaw deal, and I don't have a ride yet for Knoxville. So looking forward to racing Knoxville in a truck. Talking with a couple teams, and really excited to have a NASCAR series there. I think Knoxville is an amazing facility. Everything they do is good. So I think we'll put on a good show, and hopefully I could be there competing for a win.
How is that going from the dirt and going to a track like Michigan?
Yeah, no experience at all, never being there, never watching a race there unless it was on TV. So I did it a little bit on iRacing, and literally I started 12th in my first career race and never raced around a truck in my life. So it was a nerve-wracking situation for sure. Luckily I didn't crash and didn't tear anybody up that was in the championship chase and stuff like that. So I went really well to run 10th in that. I thought was really, really good, and it was fun. There's so much to learn in a short time. I just need a little bit of time. Somebody give me a couple months to learn it, and I think I'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah. So if you ever had the opportunity to go do that, you would jump on it and take it?
I would say so, yeah. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I would regret it. I feel like I'm in a great place in the dirt world where if I wanted to go back and do it, that I would be able to hopefully get a ride. And I'm only so young, and I'm getting older every year, so it's one of those things. You learn those bad habits I talked about. If you're a sprint car driver for so long, it's so hard to break that feel or what you want to feel. So, it's one of those things. I'm always open-minded, and I'm always striving for more. I think anybody that is a race car driver, if they could, even if it's a baseball player, if you wanted to play AAA or if you wanted to play Major League Baseball, I feel NASCAR in our country is the ultimate form of racing, even if sometimes it's boring, or sometimes the races are too long, or it's politics or money involved too much. At the end of the day, it's still our ultimate form of racing that's most well known globally. So I love sprint car racing. I think it's one of the purest forms of circle track racing we have, and we have a very great product, and we have a lot of momentum on our side. So I think sprint car racing, health-wise, is in a great place as well.
Yeah, circle track racing, auto racing, it doesn't matter where you go in the world. You always feel like your family. It doesn't,
Yep.
you know, if you go to this track, if you go to that track, if you go to a road course, if you go to an asphalt track, racing is always a big family. We've got to learn a little bit about you today. We know that you're pizza's awesome.
Yeah,
Dig pizza.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I could live off this stuff. Favorite band?
Favorite band? Well, see, I'm a little bit different generation, but I'm more into like hip hop and rap music and stuff like that. So I like all forms. Like obviously my dad was rock and roll, my mom was country, but I like all music. But I'm more into that music, gets me hyped up, pumped up. And coming from the Northeast, we got a lot of that. So Drake is a guy that pumps me up.
Let's see. You ever like Wu-Tang Clan?
I mean, I was a little young when they were popular, but I watched all those old movies, you know, Straight Outta Compton and stuff like that to learn about all the history of that type of music. But I know some of their songs, but I'm not super familiar with them.
Like Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, he's going through a big change.
He just made a huge change.
Yeah, he's like a punk band now, and he's dating Megan Fox. God
Oh,
bless him.
lucky
So
guy.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he's doing well. He dissed Eminem, and then now he's doing punk rock. So
Yeah,
it's
that was
working out for him.
That was probably the best thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working with Halsey and Youngblood now.
Yeah.
His brand new album and everything that came out.
Yeah, he's doing good. Actually, my wife loves his new songs. Like she's all about it. So she loves Megan Fox. So she's in one of the music videos or whatever. So
Oh, yeah.
she's all about it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We got music out of the way. Okay, besides auto racing, what's your favorite sport?
That's tough. I love football and basketball. I like to maybe watch football more, but I like playing basketball for fun, even though I'm way too short. I still think I'm pretty good at it. So I like to play basketball anytime I can. It's just a competitive sport. You can trash talk. You could, box people out. That's what I like to do.
Jeff, I told you need to put a basketball hoop in here, man. Come on. You gonna do that?
Yeah.
Maybe outside, and we don't need to be messing anything up here because it gets physical. And I tore my meniscus on a shop floor playing basketball. It was a dusty shop floor and blew my knee out. So it was actually in Jack Hoddenshield's shop back in the day.
We didn't say how high we were going to mount the hoops.
Yeah.
About that fan would be perfect. I could dunk on that.
I don't know. I'll bring my 15-year-old son over here. We'll come over. We'll play some basketball and everything.
He's probably taller than me for sure. So yeah.
Nah, well, he just passed me.
Okay.
Yeah, he just got past me. But all right. So favorite off-time pastime activity, non-sports wise.
Well, fishing's a sport, isn't it?
Nah, that's a drinking game.
Okay. Yeah. I just started kind of deep sea fishing a little bit, not too much, but about 4 or 5 years ago, I went for the first time in Deerfield Beach, and that was a lot of fun. So I like doing that. Not when the water's rough, but in nice conditions, it's a lot of fun.
Well, you're living down here now, right?
Yeah, I live in West Palm.
So have you ever gone out and done any fishing on Lake Okeechobee?
I just did last week with my crew guys. My crew chief is a big, largemouth bass fisherman back in Ohio. So he's like, man, I used to watch him on the Outdoor Channel or on TV. So we went and did that, and we caught some bass, not any massive ones, but we caught some catfish and caught some bass, and it was fun. It's just so different, like a lake here than a lake to where I grew up from. It's pretty wild how that grass or weeds grow in the water and there's no roots. It's pretty wild.
I heard you say wife, so you're married. Any kids yet?
No, I just got married last year. Right before the
congratulations.
pandemic, I timed it perfectly somehow. Got to go on a honeymoon. I mean, we nailed everything. So we just got married last year. But kids in our future for sure.
Are you hoping for boys or girls, or even if it is?
I don't want to jinx it, but I think you know the answer to that question.
But do you want them to follow in your footsteps? Is racing going to be a part of their life? Do you want it to be a part of their life?
That's something I won't pressure them. I'm hoping Jill's brother is 6'4", so I'm hoping that I have a boy that gets pretty tall and is a good athlete, and just have fun with that, because I love sports just like I love racing, so I think that would be fun too. But I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I think when your kid has it or doesn't. Well, some parents don't know that, and they think their kids are whatever. But I think I would be honest with myself and see, hey, this guy's really good at hand-eye coordination or really good at driving things. So we'll see. I'm excited for it.
We touched on your Mustang a little bit. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so that's my second car I've ever owned. I owned an Infiniti G35. I sold it for more money than I bought that car for, and I've had it since 2010. It started off like real simple exhaust and intake and gears and tires, and went in the 12s with it and got addicted, supercharged it. Then I wanted to go faster, so I built a motor, put a built transmission in it. Now it's a 9-second car, stick shift car, and it's here to get more work done, so hopefully Jeff can make it faster. So we'll see if he knows any speed secrets or not.
So yeah, I mean, V-Lock Speed Shop, I imagine he can make you go faster around here.
I hope so. Or I'm going to put a bad review on Google. We'll see.
I don't know. Do we want to put a Ferrari motor in it? I mean,
I can't afford that right now. I'm going to have to win a championship or two for that.
Any more questions out there, Kelly?
No, it's kind of a weird time, so I think a lot of people are going to grab onto this later, but let me check again.
I'll share this. So I didn't share it because I'm not set up to do that, but I'll share it after we get done with this. Should be good.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get you down to Hendry County at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna do something with Hendry County. I don't know how it's all gonna work out, but me and Jeff, we're gonna help it out, and maybe I'll talk to Tony. We'll try to get an all-star race one day or something, and maybe work up to World of Outlaw race one day.
We just did our second annual Sugar Bowl, which we do with the Mod Lights.
Yep.
With IMSA and IMCA, and this past year we kind of stepped it up a little bit. Didn't really get a lot of people to come do it, but we did a fishing tournament in the middle of the week during that. I mean, I think that would be something great. I mean, we've got Roland Martin's out there. I mean, it is the bass fishing capital of the world out on Lake Okeechobee.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we'll all get together sometime. We'll figure something out. I got a lot of ideas, just never been able to really get them off the ground. But,
well, back in the day, I don't know, but the guy that brought me out in the charter at Lake Okeechobee, he was saying when Bass Pro Shop and Tracker is really involved in NASCAR, and they had Dale Earnhardt out there and Tony Stewart, and they did all sorts of charity fishing tournaments and stuff like that. So if you could get somebody hooked up like that and get all the big time drivers out, and then say, even if it's on the dirt side, but if you get the biggest names in sprint car racing, then you could have fans, bid to go fishing with that person on their bass boat, and that could be something that would be really good. But I've learned a lot over the last 10 plus years in dirt racing, and Jeff knows a lot about the road racing side, and he's hooked up with some people around here. So I don't know, we'll see. I think, I think we could help out over time for sure.
Yeah, probably the past 5 years, my eyes were really open to the racing industry, how it works, how to promote things. I mean, I've dabbled in the promotion part of it a little bit. Friends with Ross Chastain, I've talked to his family and everything about how they've gone and worked their way through the series and how they've built it up along the way in the sponsorship programs. Sponsorship programs I mean, it can be a neat thing or it can be a hindrance, but you guys, what you got on board with you right now, those guys are in it. They are in it to win it this year.
Yeah, I mean, we have a well-funded team. Todd's a very successful businessman. He's involved in so many things, but the money he's put into dirt racing with owning these 2 racetracks. But he's owned a team for probably at least 15 years. It started with Terry McCarl with the big game tree stands car back then, but he's had Craig Delansky and Sammy Swindell and Danny Lasowski, Kerry Madsen. I mean, the list goes on and on. So he's in the sport for a long time. He loves to do it. We need people like him to keep the sport going. Houston's was closed for several years, and him purchasing it and opening it back up is huge for that community.
Favorite driver to race against?
That could change any moment, if somebody does you dirty or not. But, I mean, I respect Donnie Schatz to the highest level. He's an extremely clean race car driver. A guy like Lance DeWeese is as well. I'm probably a little bit more aggressive than him and maybe have made a couple people mad over the years. But I feel like I'm in between. I'm not an aggressive guy, but still races fairly clean. So I would say Donnie and Lance DeWeese.
Favorite battle on the track you've had?
I lost so many races when I was younger to like Tim Schaefer and Dale Blaney when I started with the All-Stars. Being a young kid, they kicked my butt, but I ran second to them so many times and just learned so much from those guys when they were at the peak of their careers. But I've had some good battles. Donnie used to beat me a lot in the 410s as well at Outlaw races, but I had a couple really good battles with Shane Stewart over the years, one time at Wilmot Speedway and one time at Tulare. But those back and forth races where you got to really nail a lap to really put a guy away, there's a couple of those races that stand out against him.
David, it has been a pleasure hanging out
good.
with you. It's great to
appreciate it.
hopefully we can hang out and talk a little more at some point in time. I want to thank Jeff Bailly from Vlog Speed Shops, and I want to thank Done Right TV, and just everybody out there. I want to say hey to Brian Baggett again. Get a chance, come back, check this out. David, want to tell them some of the stuff you got going on right now with your race team and also your YouTube channel?
Yeah. So I got David Gravel on Twitter, David Gravel Racing on Facebook. My Instagram's David Gravel 2, and then my YouTube channel is type in David Gravel. You see my videos everywhere. So maybe comment if you guys watch this. Maybe comment you saw me on this stream today, and we're going to come up with a lot of cool things this year. I need to get some GoPros and get into it a little bit more, but I'm really excited to where that's going. And social media is such a huge part of our sport and of our society today. So you got to do it all if you want to be relevant. That's for sure.
I want to see some GoPro footage from the Mustang.
All right, I got some already. I
got some GoPros in the car.
Yeah, well, I don't have a GoPro, but I did on my phone. This Draggy app is amazing. It tells you 60 foots and 8th mile with mile per hour. 60 to 130 mile per hour times, and it's all just on your phone and this little GPS thing you put in your car. It's amazing. So look it up. Go on YouTube. I got some drag racing videos of that already, and
sweet.
Yeah, I got some fun stuff. That's for sure.
Awesome. Once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you. We good, Jeff? You got anything? All right. Thanks everybody for joining. And
Jeff doesn't want to talk. No. He just wants to go fast.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear David's story.
So all I got to say is help these guys out, man. Let's get on their Facebook. I started watching some of David's videos on YouTube. Dude, you got to watch this stuff, man. These sprint cars, you make it look like you're driving a little go-kart. It's like, there he goes. Look at boom.
So, I do it 90 times a year for like 12 years, so if I'm not good at it, I know I should retire.
God. It's insane. So look up some of his videos. Check out some of the stuff that Jeff does here with Vlog Speed Shop. Amazing stuff. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. That's all I got. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate everybody's time.
Yeah, thank you.
And I probably just had my head cut off there, didn't I? Just